Assalamu alaikum. Juma Mubarak. May we be awake enough to collect the blessings of this Juma and this month. May we not be in ghaflat. May we not be in lanat. May we always be busy with ourselves, not with others or the state of the affairs of this world, because there's so much fitna that's happening. You people, good people, may get confused, and you start loving the ones that is causing the blessings to be taken away. You end up praising the ones who is pulling the la'nat of Allah on the ummah. May Allah protect us from that. The marifat in these days is to be busy with yourself. That is marifat. Because majority of the people are very busy with everything. Non-stop giving comments, non-stop making fatwa, non-stop. Everything they see, they hear, they have to say something. As if they have the knowledge or the wisdom. Stay out! Or the permission and authority to speak. Look to see the fitna book. What? Fitna book? Facebook. People are saying, commenting on everything. Everything. Who are you? Maybe you're 7-year-old. Who are you? Maybe you have completely no knowledge of nothing. Who are you? Maybe you don't even have the bravery to speak to people. We know some people, they're very, but behind that keyboard, everything is, you become a lion, filled with fitna. Everyone giving fatwas, religious rulings. Maybe that one doesn't even have a ghusl. It's happening. So marifat in these days is stay out of this confusion. It's not marifat in these days to have more knowledge. It's to have whatever knowledge that you have, to preserve it, to practice it, to live a life clean. This is the advice that was given to the Holy Prophet by the Holy Prophet ﷺ 1400 years ago for the people of the Akhir Zaman. That's why you find us living on top of a mountain, away from everything. Alhamdulillah, may Allah keep us in safety. And those sincere ones. You want to be in safety, pull yourself out from the confusion. So somebody asked me a question 1 minute ago. Somebody asking me, how do you balance the work of the dunya with the work of the akhirat? The answer is very simple. You don't balance. What do you think? Yin yang, we are balancing? There's no balance. There is priority. There's no balance. Can you balance good and evil in Islam? You don't balance good and evil, right? You don't balance dunya and akhirat. You don't balance. Once you balance, you say this one is in reality equal to this one. It is not. Now a lot of people are going to find so much problems with what I'm saying. But listen a little bit. maybe we will learn something. Haq is different, batil is different. Akhirat is haq, isn't it? Dunya is batil, isn't it? How can we balance haq and batil? For what? Whose idea is this? Since when it comes into Islam? But in Islam there is what? Priority. Priority. Put Allah and His Prophet as priority. Don't put your ego as priority. Don't put the dunya as priority. Don't put your desires as priority. Don't put shaitan as priority. Put Allah and His Prophet as priority. That time, you don't have to find a balance. There is priority. There will be harmony. There will be peace. There will be sakina. Sahabe Kiram, did they have peace in their hearts? Of course they did. But did they have this world? No. They had sakina, tranquility in their hearts. But all of them, as you know, from beginning to the end maybe, non-stop, they are being oppressed and tyrannized and, today's word, stressed out, isn't it? But they have tranquility. So now, what is that tranquility that we want? The tranquility that we want, that peace that we want, the satisfaction that we want is to know that what we are doing is only for the sake of Allah, not for the sake of the ego. Man is worshipping, making zikr, reading Quran, doing so many things, 24 hours, but he's doing it for the sake of his ego. He's in big trouble. Before his good deeds reach up to the first paradises, the angels, they check it, they throw it back to his face. Understand? The man is working 24 hours non-stop to help in the way of Allah. Doesn't have too much time to pray, to make zikr, but he's working non-stop in the way of Allah. Either to help other people, poor people, or to help his poor family, or to help in the way, in the dergahs and in the way. Doesn't have too much time for all this worshipping. What he's doing is for the sake of Allah. It is accepted. But he's not worshipping. He's going out there, say, being busy with his sheep. He's going out there chopping wood for 40 years. But what is the niyat? What is the reason? He is doing it for the sake of Allah, for the sake of his shaykh. It is accepted. That should be the way. Man is staying in the masjid whole day, whole night worshipping, but he should be out there working to help his family or to be useful to the society. Who is giving him permission to do it? To stay whole day, whole night in the masjid? No one but himself. He's in big trouble. He's running away from the work of Allah. So if you put Allah as priority, whatever work that you are doing, the reason is for the sake of Allah. What you are doing? You are cooking. For what reason? For the sake of Allah. What does it mean for the sake? Ask yourself more. Everyone can say, oh, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. Say, what do you mean for the sake of Allah? Challenge yourself. Prove it is for the sake of Allah. How is it for the sake of? More you are refining that intention, then the work that you're doing becomes an ibadat. Were we just speaking about that this morning? Huh? Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a dergah. And that dergah decided to help everyone in the dergah and not to ask money from people. That is not a dergah. These days, so many dergah, first thing you see on the website, on everything, is to ask money from people. That's not. Dergah is not a collection of beggars. People want to help, they help. But some people, they help, later they take back. That's also new style. They're also doing it. Some people, they say, yes, I'm doing it for the sake of Allah. They give, then later they change their mind. Nope, I don't like it anymore. Give back everything. Give me everything that I've given in the way of Allah. That also happens. We are not surprised. So this Dergah is saying, let's set up one kebab stand to make kebab, to sell to the villagers, later collecting the money, then to say, now we're going to help everyone that is living in the Dergah. This is for everyone to help. So they did that. People working at this kebab stand, some of them loving it very much, some of them not liking it, some of them hating it, some of them hating, then later they like, some of them liking, later they hate. You know, ego. Then later, there was a, let's say, there was a sheikh of that dergah saying, after some months, some years passing, and people are always working at that kebab, but they're not really making too much, putting a lot of work. They don't have too much time to do any other thing, no worship, no. Some feeling very fed up. Then that one, that authority of that dergah, saying, you are doing it for the sake of Allah, this kebab stand. That time, when you are doing that, that is your worship. You are going cutting the animal to make the kebabs, that is a worship. You are cooking the kebab, that is a worship. You are selling it, that is a worship. You staying all day, all night worshipping, that doesn't mean too much, because it is for you, but you are doing this serving. Serving for the sake of Allah, that is a worship. Some believing, some not believing. Some understanding, later they ego trick them, they don't understand. So many things happen, ego. Then when that authority, that sheikh said that night, one of the murids had a dream. And in that dream, a voice coming saying, it was not a voice. A big awliya came and went to that kebab store. And that big awliya saying, I'm going to now to take a report of how you are doing, what is your intention. And for your information, Prophet ﷺ was here and he took a report. and now I'm going to give a report. The Murid woke up. He kept it for a few days. Later he said to the whole Jamaat. People understood. Some still not understanding. Some, the ego overtake them. That is life. That is the ego. This is not a story. This is true. So, what is your intention? Priority is Allah. But what are you doing? You are going to the mountaintop to cut wood. What is cutting wood? Cutting wood is not a ibadat. It's cutting wood. But the one who goes up there cutting wood with such happiness, because the wood he's going to bring down to give heat, to serve people, to serve the Dergah, he's doing it for the sake of Allah. After 40 years, that one became a huge awliya. And that awliya's name is U.S.A. So we are in the way of U.S.A. We're not looking at the prize. We are looking at the work. Some asking me, what is the rewards for praying such and such a prayer? I'm saying, so much rewards, but in our way, we are not concentrating on the rewards. We're concentrating on doing the job well. If Allah wants to reward, He will reward. If Allah doesn't want to reward, who can force Him to reward? We do something as a business. Allah is a businessman, saying, I do this much, you have to give me this much because you say. Very dangerous. But that is common level of understanding. If I do this, I'm going to get this. Later you understand, it's not what I get or I don't get. It is pleasing the one that I'm doing it for. Pleasing. Allah's pleasure is our goal. The Prophet's pleasure is our goal. Our Sheikh's pleasure is our goal. So, know what pleases him. You know the Sheikh, you know our Sheikh. Very easy. You think, oh, I'm staying here in the Dergah all day, is it going to please him? Definitely not. I'm going outside, working, being very busy, very tired, coming back, Sheikh Effendi prays for us. He's saying, oh, so many times he's saying, and I'm seeing it. They're working for the sake of Allah. They're coming back, their faces are shining. You pray a whole night, tahajjud, you come to Fajr, your face is never shining, very sour and angry. So now, we have to understand these points. If we do, it's very easy for us. Wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.